Hey, I'm Hannah. This is Saya. Today we're starting Chapter 2 of our Twilight Rewrite. If you're just joining us, hi. We're rewriting Twilight. There's a whole playlist if you want to check out the other ones. I feel like I have the worst hair days when I film Twilight videos, and that's when I don't want to have bad hair days, because these are the videos that all the 15-year-olds want to bully me about. If you didn't know, my new collection Starlight is up for pre-order, and if you do pre-order it in any form from any place, you can enter the pre-order giveaway. Every entry will get you 3 exclusive stories that I cut from Starlight, and you'll be entered to win things like manuscript critiques, signed books, posters, things of that nature. And I've got big news. I'm a Twitch streamer now. I don't know how it works, but I downloaded some software earlier. So our live stream this week is going to be this Friday over on Twitch. It'll be a lot like the ones we do here. We're going to do giveaways and games. And I might start editing Twilight on Twitch so that you guys can do it live with me and give me suggestions as we go. I don't know. Go follow me, twitch.tv/HannahLeeKidder. It's twitch.tv, right? I'm very new. If any of you are Twitch streamers or watch a lot of Twitch streamers and have thoughts, leave me suggestions in the comments. I don't know what I'm doing. Achievement unlocked. I got an achievement. Reached 10 followers. Oh, that's so nice. Thanks for following me, guys. I got 24 followers. I'm so excited. Okay, anyway. Moving on, we're editing Twilight today. Now for the first chapter, when I went to film that first video, I had skimmed like almost the whole chapter, so I kind of knew where it was going. I have no idea what happens in chapter 2. It's been many years since I've read these books, and I read them very drunk in college. So I love saying I was in college many years ago, so my new viewers are like, you're definitely 14. People have actually been saying that I look 18 lately, so. All right, chapter 2. Open book. So in the last chapter, she had her first day of school. Edward Cullen was mean to her. She went home crying. The next day was better, ... and worse. Okay. It was better because it wasn't raining yet, though the clouds were dense and opaque. It was easier because I knew what to expect of my day. Mike came to sit by me in English, and we walked to my next class with Chess Club Eric. What a nickname. That's very clever. Glaring at him all the while. That was nattering. What is nattering? I don't know that word. Did Stephenie Meyer just teach me a word? Talk casually, especially about unimportant matters. Like chattering. Okay. Wait. That doesn't make sense. There's not another definition. What does that mean? Okay, I'm pretty sure she's using this word wrong. I'm just gonna take that out. People didn't look at me quite as much as they had yesterday. I sat with a big group at lunch that included Mike, Eric, Jessica, and several other people whose names and faces I now remembered. I began to feel like I was treading water instead of drowning in it. I'm gonna take out began to feel because you don't need that. Felt like I was treading water instead of drowning in it. I'm also gonna take out that comma. It's not completely necessary, and I don't know. I like it better without. It was worse because I was tired. I still couldn't sleep with the wind echoing around the house. It was worse because Mr. Varner called on me and Trig. What a bitch. When my hand wasn't raised and I had the wrong answer. It was miserable because I had to play volleyball, and the one time I didn't cringe out of the way of a ball, I hit my teammate in the head with it. And it was worse because Edward Cullen wasn't in school at all. Why is that worse? She went home crying because of him. Why would she want him there? All morning I was dreading lunch, fearing his bizarre glares. Part of me wanted to confront him. I'm here. Part of me wanted to confront him and demand to know what his problem was. While I was lying sleepless in my bed, I even imagined what I would say, but I knew myself too well to think I would really have the guts to do it. I made the cowardly lion look like Terminator. That's a capital T, right? The Terminator. But when I walked into the cafeteria with Jessica, trying to keep my eyes from sweeping the place for him and failing entirely, I saw that his 4 siblings of sorts... These sentences are just a bunch. This is why you should read your prose out loud. If you stumble and stutter, it's probably too clunky. When I walked into the cafeteria with Jessica, trying to keep my eyes from sweeping the place for him and failing entirely, I saw his 4 siblings sitting together at the same table, and he was not with them. I feel like I'm assuming they're at the same table, but isn't that so much shorter? I saw his 4 siblings sitting together. We also don't need I saw to filter, but sure. Mike intercepted us and steered us to his table. Jessica seemed elated by the attention, and her friends quickly joined us, but as I tried to listen to their easy chatter, it's all just so, it's so much description, but it's all so vague. We're not getting anything from this. It's barely setting the scene, but it could be done so much more interestingly. This is so boring. I was terribly uncomfortable, waiting nervously for the moment he would arrive. I hoped that he would simply ignore me when he came and prove my suspicions false. Okay, we're gonna get into some rewriting territory here. Instead of saying all of this, let's just say something specific. So we can say chattered if she likes that so much. Oh, it's a mailman. Hi. Mike intercepted us and steered us to his table. Jessica seemed elated by the attention, and her friends joined us. I'm tired of her being mad about Jessica existing and being social, so I'm going to just say Jessica and her friends chattered about homework and the volleyball game. Just something specific, because why not? You got the space here. Jessica and her friends chattered about homework and the volleyball game, but my eyes kept flicking back to the Cullens table. We could even say, comma, to Edward's empty chair. Okay? Now we don't have to tell the reader everything. They get it. And it's 2 sentences shorter. He didn't come, and as time passed, I grew more and more tense. No. To Edward's empty chair. It was still empty when I left the cafeteria. Cafeteria. My God, cafeteria. We made it. This is just showing that she's seeing it happen, and the fact that she's seeing it happen means that she's watching for it to happen, which means that she's stressing about it and wondering where he is, which is all the stuff we were just told, and now we're shown. Isn't that better? It's better. I walked to biology with more confidence when, by the end of lunch, she still hadn't showed. When, by the end of lunch? What? The more words she uses, the more confusing it gets. I walked to biology with more, I'm going to say a little more confident. Mike, who was taking on the qualities of a golden retriever, walked faithfully. I held my breath at the door, but Edward Cullen wasn't there either. Held my breath at the door, we could say, but Edward's chair was empty, or but Edward's lab chair was empty too. I exhaled and went to my seat. Mike followed, talking about an upcoming trip to the beach. He lingered by my desk till the bell rang. Then he smiled at me wistfully and went to sit by the girl. Went. How many times does she use the word went? Hey, wait, hold on. Went. 74 results. I'm going to put exhaled up here because it's like connecting her relief to his absence. I exhaled. Mike followed me to my seat, talking about an upcoming trip to the beach. He lingered by my desk till the bell rang. Then he smiled at me wistfully and sat by a girl with braces and a bad perm. It looked like I was going to have to do something about Mike, and it wouldn't be easy. In a town like this, where everyone lived on top of everyone else, diplomacy was essential. I had never been enormously tactful. I had no practice dealing with overly friendly boys. I was relieved that I had the desk to myself, that Edward was absent. I told myself that repeatedly, but I couldn't get rid of the nagging suspicion that I was the only reason he wasn't there. It was ridiculous and egotistical to think that I could affect anyone that strongly. It was impossible, and yet I couldn't stop worrying that it was true. I'm going to take out it was impossible just because, my God, does she harp on. When school day was finally done, oh, thank God we don't have to go through a play-by-play of her day again. When the school day was finally done and the blush was faded out of my cheeks from the volleyball incident, I changed quickly back into my jeans and navy blue sweater. I hurried from the girls' locker room, pleased to find that I had successfully evaded my retriever friend for the moment. I walked swiftly out to the parking lot. It was crowded now with fleeing students. I got in my truck and dug through my bag to make sure I had what I needed. What do you need? I'm going to take out to make sure I had what I needed. Also, got is very similar to went, and it's a big truck, so we could say, I climbed into my truck and dug through my bag. Last night, I discovered that Charlie didn't cook much besides fried eggs and bacon, so I requested that I be assigned kitchen detail for the duration of my stay. He was willing enough to hand over the keys to the banquet hall. The banquet hall? I also found out that he had no money in the house. So I had my shopping list and the cash from the jar in the cupboard labeled food money. Charlie just keeps a jar labeled food money? That's how a grown man handles his finances? You know what? I don't like that. I'm just going to say, and the cash from Charlie. I just want Charlie to be a little bit cooler. He deserves more. He was willing enough to hand over the keys to the banquet hall. I guess that's just a cute way of saying he's giving her control of the kitchen. I'm going to take it out. I don't like it. I also found out that he had no food in the house. So I had my shopping list and the cash from Charlie, and I was on my way to the Thriftway. Belle, are you 90? Be honest. I gunned my deafening engine to life, ignoring the heads that turned in my direction, and backed carefully into a place in the line of cars that were waiting to exit the parking lot. Okay, I backed carefully. What if we just say into the exit line? That's so much easier. As I waited, trying to pretend that the ear-splitting rumble was coming from someone else's car, I saw the two Cullens and the Hale twins getting into their car. It was the shiny new Volvo, of course. I hadn't noticed their clothes before. I'd been too mesmerized by their faces. Now that I looked, it was obvious that they were all dressed exceptionally well, simply but in clothes that subtly hinted at designer origins. With their remarkable good looks, the style in which they carried themselves, they could have worn dish rags and pulled it off. It seemed excessive for them to have both good looks and money. But as far as I could tell, life worked that way most of the time. It didn't look as if it bought them any acceptance here. I would love to see an actual description. What colors are the clothes? How do they fit? Is Emmett in booty shorts or no? No, I didn't fully believe that. The isolation must be their desire. I couldn't imagine any door that wouldn't be opened by that degree of beauty. They looked at my noisy truck as I passed them, but passed, just like everyone else. We already said that. I kept my eyes straight. I'm going to say I kept my eyes forward and was relieved when I finally was free. Of the school grounds. This is a little bit of an abstraction, just like everything is a little bit of an abstraction. I kept my eyes forward and was relieved when we can say, like, back wheels bumped off the curb of, what is it, Forks High? The Forks High parking lot. Like, we can just say something specific. The Thriftway was not far from the school, just a few streets south. Why does she keep saying the Thriftway? A few streets south off the highway. It was nice to be inside the supermarket. It felt normal. This is maybe personal taste, but I hate semicolons. I did the shopping at home, and I fell into the pattern of the familiar task gladly. I think we could just say, fell into the familiar task. The store was big enough inside that I couldn't hear the tapping of the rain on the roof to remind me where I was. When I got home, I unloaded all the groceries, stuffed them in wherever I could find an open space. She said there was no food at home. Why does it sound like she's scrounging for space? We could just say felt logical or something. I hope Charlie wouldn't mind. I wrapped potatoes in foil and stuck them in the oven to bake, covered a steak in marinade, and balanced it on top of a carton of eggs in the fridge. When I was finished with that, I took my bag upstairs. Well, yeah, she just said she did it, so yes, she's finished. She's finished. We already know she's finished. I took my bag upstairs. Before starting my homework, I changed into a pair of dry sweats, pulled my damp hair into a ponytail, and checked my email for the first time. I had 3 messages. I'm just going to take out before starting my homework and put a comma. Took my bag upstairs, changed into a pair of dry sweats, pulled my hair into, we don't need up. Ponytail's one word, isn't it? Did this book have an editor? And checked my email for the first time. I had 3 messages. Bella, my mom wrote. What? That's the weirdest little transition. 3 messages. I could say all from mom. Write me as soon as you get in. Tell me how your flight was. Is it raining? I miss you already. I'm almost finished packing for Florida, but I can't find my pink blouse. Do you know where I put it? Phil says hi. Mom. I sighed and went to the next. It was sent 8 hours after the first. Why haven't you emailed me yet? What are you waiting for? I'm going to take out what are you waiting for because that feels weird. The last was from this morning. Isabella. Or we could do like Bella, comma, write me as soon as you get in. And then I'm going to take out the mom here and not put a Bella because she's like getting more frantic. The last was from this morning. Isabella. Now she's mad. We've got tone established. If I haven't heard from you by 5:30 p.m. today, I'm calling Charlie. I checked the clock. I still had an hour, but my mom was well known for jumping the gun. Mom, calm down. I'm writing now. Don't do anything rash. Bella, why would calling Charlie be that rash? That's kind of a normal thing to do. I sent that and began again. Mom, everything is great. Of course it's raining. I was waiting for something to write about. School isn't bad, just a little repetitive. I met some nice kids who sat by me at lunch. Your blouse is at the dry cleaners. You were supposed to pick it up Friday. Charlie bought me a truck. Can you believe it? I love it. It's old, but really sturdy, which is good, for me. I miss you too. I'll write again soon, but I'm not going to check my email every 5 minutes. Relax, breathe. I love you, Bella. I had decided to read Wuthering Heights. Of course she decided to read Wuthering Heights. The novel we were currently studying in English, yet again for the fun of it, and that's what I was doing when Charlie came home. Who wants to read Wuthering Heights more than once? I lost track of time and I hurried downstairs to take the potatoes out and put the steaks into broil. Bella, That's what Charlie sounds like to me. Bella, my father called out when he heard me on the stairs. Who else? I thought to myself. I'm going to take out I thought to myself because it's in first person. And I'm going to put it with this strip of dialogue. Who else? Hey, Dad, welcome home. Thanks. He hung up his gun belt and stepped out of his boots as I bustled about the kitchen. As far as I was aware, he'd never shot the gun on the job, but he kept it ready. When I came here as a child, he would always remove the bullets as soon as he walked in the door. I guess he considered me old enough now not to shoot myself by accident and not depressed enough to shoot myself on purpose. Okay. What's for dinner, he asked warily. My mother was an imaginative cook, but her experiments weren't always edible. I was surprised and sad that he seemed to remember that far back. It was his wife. Steak and potatoes, I answered, and he looked relieved. He seemed to feel awkward standing in the kitchen doing nothing. He lumbered in the living room to watch TV while I worked. We were both comfortable that way. I made a salad while the steaks cooked and set the table. You see how it's saying this comma's wrong? It's because it is. You know how to fix it? While the steaks cooked, I made a salad and set the table. I don't know why she wants to split up sentences. They're so happy together. Just let them live. And set the table. I called him in when dinner was ready, and he sniffed appreciatively as he walked into the room. Smells good, Belle. Thanks. This is so awkward, but it's supposed to be, I guess. We sat in silence for a few minutes. It wasn't uncomfortable. Don't lie. Neither of us was bothered by quiet. I think I'm going to take out just bothered by quiet. In some ways, we were well suited for living together. So how did you like school? Have you made any friends? He asked as he was taking seconds. Didn't you just put one steak in the fridge? Well, I have a few classes with a girl named Jessica. I sit with her friends at lunch. And there's this boy, Mike, who's very friendly. Everybody seems pretty nice. With one outstanding exception. That must be Mike Newton. Nice kid, nice family. His dad owns a sporting goods store just outside of town. He makes a good living off all the backpackers who come through here. Do you know the Cullen family? I asked hesitantly. Dr. Cullen's family? Sure, Dr. Cullen's a great man. The kids, are a little different. They don't seem to fit in very well at school. Charlie surprised me by looking angry. People in this town, he muttered. Dr. Cullen is a brilliant surgeon who could probably work at any hospital in the world, make 10 times the salary he gets here, he continued, getting louder. We're lucky to have him, lucky that his wife wanted to live in a small town. He's an asset to the community, and all those kids are well-behaved and polite. I had my doubts when they first moved in with all those adopted teenagers. I thought we might have some problems with them, but they're all very mature. I haven't had one speck of trouble from any of them. That's more than I can say for the children of some folks who have lived in this town for generations, and they stick together the way a family should. Camping trips every other weekend. ... That's it. That's it. That's the thought. Just because they're newcomers, people have to talk. Is Charlie in love with Carlisle? Be honest. It was the longest speech I'd ever heard Charlie make. He must feel strongly about whatever people were saying. Yeah, it was a little intense, I'm not gonna lie. I backpedaled. They seem nice enough to me. I just noticed they kept to themselves. They're all very attractive, I added, trying to be more complimentary. Charlie's like, yeah, especially You should see the doctor! I didn't write that. That's in here. You should see the doctor, Charlie said, laughing. It's a good thing he's happily married. A lot of the nurses at the hospitals have a hard time concentrating on their work with him around. Oh, we're adding something gayer. You should see the doctor. It's a good thing he's happily married. If I didn't like being single so much, ... Anyway, we lapsed back into silence as we finished eating. He cleared the table while I started on the dishes. He went back to the TV, and after I finished washing dishes by hand, no dishwasher. I'm gonna put no dishwasher here, and then say... He went back to the TV, and I went upstairs to work on my math homework. I could feel a tradition in the making. Cute. That seems like a good stopping point. Thanks for watching. Don't forget about the Twitch stream this Friday. I'll put a time here, I'm sure, somewhere on top of Saya. And if you want to be included in the giveaway drawings that we're going to be doing in that live stream, pre-order Starlight, however and wherever you'd like, and then enter the giveaway that's linked in the description. Thank you to my patrons for sponsoring this video. Which one of my patrons can I talk about today? I'm going to go to the Discord and see who's being funniest right now. Owen's being pretty funny. Go follow Owen on Twitter. See you next week. Goodbye.